Quick Snap is presented by FW Web, dependable solutions for the pros since 1866.
What's up, everybody? Me, Hoy, we're back. Week 2, Quick Snap, but it's after a Week 1 loss. We're going to talk about that, get into it a little bit. But first, Quick Snap's presented by FW Web. So, Week 1, Raiders 20, Patriots 13. I guess I'll start off with this, two things. You know, I was on 985 pregame show. I stink. I got to go hand up. Hand up. My
things were flying around.
Dude, no, my analysis of the game was terrible. So
Okay.
I got to get better too here.
All right. Like it. Always room for improvement.
2, shout out to the fans, because now sitting in my couch on a Sunday afternoon, I understand their frustration. You know,
Welcome to the first year out of football.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, except for you, Danny.
Yeah,
no one
Danny,
really
what
cares.
were you doing?
But I don't know. Does that make sense to you? Because
It's a different feel. That's
I don't want to
sure.
say it's a different thing because the season moves so fast when you're in there as a
Yes.
player, and it's like, you know, you come in Monday, you're correcting, but like you're already your mind's starting to go to Miami, you know, or whoever that next opponent is. So, like, I don't know. It was like a bringing down to earth moment for me, sitting at my couch watching. You know, I was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
I understand their frustrations a little bit. But let's get into it. Obviously, we'll talk a lot about the offense, and that starts with Drake Maye. You know, I don't think Drake played horrible. I don't think he played good. From my view of the quarterback position, which isn't very great, that's why I have you here, it just didn't look like he was comfortable to me. And I don't know if that was the scheme, system, his decision-making, the first game jitters, the pressure, which I didn't think, you know, we'll get into some of the O-line play later. I didn't think the pass blocking was terrible, you know, especially early in the game. I thought he threw for some clean pockets. But, you know, let's get into that. Quarterback play, what did you see? Good, bad, indifferent?
Yeah, I think it was just inconsistent. That would be the biggest word when I was watching the film. Obviously, watch it live, and then you go back, you watch the coach's tape, and first game jitters, new regime. It's a little wet out there. Like the first third down, Pop, who is going to be our guest on this show today, he had him on a route, and his feet were just a little off. The ball sails on him. But after that, I thought he really settled in. There was a lot of great plays, a lot of decisive throws. Like you mentioned,
I loved a lot of the back shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, the back shoulder to Booty. There was the seam to Hunter. They were able to get a play that you and I used to love against a star pressure, a nickel pressure. Yeah. They got into it at the right time, hit Hunter up the sideline. There was, I would say, from after the first drive until he threw that interception, I thought he played really well.
Yeah.
Now, there was one missed throw in there, which it didn't really matter because the next play he threw the touchdown to Pop, but he actually had Pop on a touchdown the play before that as well. And so, to me, it just boils down to consistency. And I know because I played for Josh, and Josh would always talk to us as quarterbacks, you got to be consistent because when you're up and down, anybody can have 10 to 15 really good plays in a game. But as a quarterback, we touch the ball on every single play. You got to just try to be more consistent. And so I think that starts with his feet. I think you're right. There was a lot of times where I felt like the pocket was pretty good. But what I see from Drake, and sometimes we saw this from last year too, where he gets in trouble is where he goes to step up into in the pocket and his feet get really close together, get narrow. We always talk about a quarterback wanting to have this base so I can throw from any position. Yeah. So, for instance, on that first third down to Pop, he steps up and his feet get too close together and then pops open. I get the ball out and he overthrows him. And so I saw that a little bit. I don't think that's so much scheme. I think it's just repetition, making sure, look, this is the live bullets are flying. You and I both know it's a different level when you get out there on open day, even if you played in the preseason. And I also would think that it would be beneficial if we got the run game going a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't think, especially when I woke up on Sunday morning, I don't know where you were, but it was a monsoon. I was like, it might be a ground and pound day. And sure enough.
That's what I said on the radio.
Yeah.
And let's get into that in a minute. One thing I want to bring up with you, I probably sent more tweets in the past 2 weeks than I've done my whole
I love watching it,
NFL 10-year career. But just interacting with people, hearing what fans, because I think there is a disconnect between fans, what they want to see, and what's feasible to see. And, you know, I think this is the first time within this organization you have a really unique skill set or talented quarterback in that sense. You know what I mean? The ability he can to make plays. And so I think people are frustrated seeing him throw from a pocket sometimes and not, these Josh Allen Sports Center type plays. And I go to that and tell people like, look, those plays aren't scripted. No offensive coordinator has run around and make that. Like, yes, that happens, and that is a benefit of having those type of guys, but you can't script it. It's hard to move the pocket when the run game's not going. There's a lot that goes into it that all ties together in offense. But, I think it's – and I don't know, Danny, maybe you want to interject some fan things. Like I feel like fans want to see stuff, whether it's deep balls, different things like that, attacking downfield, which is great. Yeah, I want to see that too. But, like, you also have to play within your means, play within, the system. And one person on air when I was doing Sports Hub yesterday brought up, like, we just want to see Drake play free. And I was like, there's a fine line in, like, playing willy-nilly, but also like cutting it loose.
Right. Well, I would say I'm going to interject here because I have no shame in saying I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. We all saw what he did on Sunday night. Josh has evolved
100%.
Over his career to be where he's at now. Early on in his career, he was very helter-skelter, ready to get out of the pocket very quickly. And I would say things really took a turn for Josh when you look at his career when Daboll went there to become the offensive coordinator, which what system did Daboll take there? The Patriots system. Now, he had been, up until that point, he spent some time in Alabama, so he kind of was around a college offense a little bit. I mean, we saw yesterday, or Sunday, I should say, Drake Maye with his own read, with Hunter out leading blocking. No. We had a few boots. Those plays are going to come. It really, what it comes down to at quarterback, if you're an athletic guy, it's all about feel. It's I got to go through my reads. I don't see anybody there. I manipulate the pocket. I get out. How many times have we seen Josh Allen roll to his right and make a spectacular play? Like you said, those aren't scripted. Those are him feeling, going through his reads. Something's not there. There's the rush to my left. I get outside. I make a play. And I think that's going to come in time as far as building that relationship, understanding when to do it, when not to do it. And like I said, when I watch the film, I know I just like you, I sat there and watched on my couch a TV copy. You don't get to see everything from there. And then when you go back and watch a film, I'm like, man, there's a lot of great decisive throws in this game from Drake Maye. Now, you just got to eliminate the ones where you're either indecisive, your receiver falls down, he's not open. What do you do then? Do you get a little bit jumpy? Do you keep your feet in the right position? So I think there's a lot of positives come out of this game. And the one thing we've seen about Drake, especially last year, is he improves pretty quickly. So I would expect him to take this performance and really have a big jump next week.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it earlier, the run game. I had, we have the stats here. What was it, 46 passes?
Yeah, 46 pass attempts.
And how many runs?
Total, let's see right here, rushing 18.
I would have had that flipped on Sunday. I would have said they're going to run the ball 40-something times and probably pass it 25. And a lot of people mentioned, why do we get away from the run in the second half? So, I think when I watched the game back Monday morning, the run game was the most disappointing part of my view of the game. Mm-hmm. I would say the run game and some situational football, which we'll get into here in a minute. And it looked like to me in the run game, the left side struggled a little bit, which, I hate saying it's expected because it's two rookies. You don't expect anyone to struggle. Yep. It's the NFL. You're not a rookie anymore now. Like, now it's time to go. You're a starter in the NFL. So it just didn't look like they were together on a lot of double teams, the fundamentals. Well,
tell people why it's so important for the double teams to be together.
Yeah, so
because you talk about Twitter or X, whatever. You got into it with a guy who was complaining about the lead blockers, and you and I are looking at it. I'm like, well, on that one, it's.
I agree. That guy, I forget who tweeted it, but I looked at the clips. And he's like, Patriots could really use a fullback. And I'm never going to say no to a fullback.
Right.
That's the offensive line in me. And I just didn't think his clips supported that claim.
No, one was a blast play, and he was supposed to go blast. That guy couldn't get off. He's picking up for the center.
And then, one, the center got beat. Another, we don't get up to the linebacker on a double team. So it wasn't connected in the run game. And, people think, oh, 2 guys versus 1 in the run game, that should be easy.
Yeah.
It ain't.
Yeah.
Like, you have to hit them at the same time. Your shoulders have to be connected. Your hips, we always used to say shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, and drive them off the ball. And, look, it's not very rarely you're going to drive a guy 6 yards off the ball, but, like, you can sometimes on a double team get him over. Like, so if it's the left guard, left tackle, you get him over to the left guard, maybe don't get that much movement, and then you can climb to the linebacker.
Right.
They didn't get a lot of movement first off, which isn't good. The Raiders, hats off to them. They controlled the line of scrimmage in the run game. And then, they just didn't get up to the linebackers. And so when you do that, that's where you see a lot of the 2-3 yard runs. And I think it was 3 yards average per carry.
Yep, 3.3.
A lot of fans are frustrated about that. But as an offensive coordinator, now you were playing from behind, and it's not working.
Yeah,
the run game's not working. And 2nd and 7 is not much different than 2nd and 10. 2nd and 6 to 5 is a lot different.
Yeah, and what I saw was, to you said, it wasn't working. The game had declared itself. You had to come back. And I think Josh used the short passing game and substituted the running game. We saw some of the swing passes to the running backs, things like that. I think when you're a coach, and I haven't been a coach, but I now am starting to get a different perspective. If you put in a game plan and you go out there and all of a sudden that game plan, the guys aren't executing it the way you want, or it's not working, you got to adapt. And so I think, to your point, David, when I see the guys getting pushed back and you're only getting 2-3 yards a pop, you got to make some kind of different move to doing something else.
And I would say this: I've played in a lot of games where, we have the iPads on the sideline, right? You guys see the pictures, we see the pictures, the coaches see the pictures.
Right.
And most of the time I felt like when we went in a game plan, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, in the first half, we tried to hit every style of run we had in the game.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
because you want to see what's going to work.
Yeah, if you're carrying, call it, now you can dress these runs up in different, formations, motions, all these things, but you really have like 4 or 5 concepts, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can run them out of substituted offenses, different, all this stuff. But I've been in games where we go in and it's like, all right, well, our base runs aren't good today. We're going to get out of that, but our sub power's great, our sub zone's great. Like, that's what we're going to do.
And I saw a lot being tried on Sunday. There was a lot of different concepts
when
they were trying to get to see if they could work.
Yeah, when Josh gets to the sidelines, like, all right, blast, no, gaps, not great, zones, not great. Like, what is he supposed to,
Right.
There's not that much you can do. And, versus like being like, all right, well, we were trying to run gap, but it's not going great, but our zone runs look great today, or our one back powers look great today. That's what we're going to keep going to the well. So, look, I understand the frustration on that, but I think that's just part of the game. But, I think, and look, you got Booty out there with 103 yards.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Booty. I'm all in.
I think I've been really impressed, especially with the way you've seen his demeanor change, the work ethic, the way he's gone out and had to prove it. I mean, he was kind of a guy people were talking about, is he on the bubble? And clearly Drake trusts him, right? That's the one thing that I would say walking away from the game. Drake may trust Booty. He trusts Hunter Henry at the most critical times with the most risky type throws. He trusts Hunter Henry. The's no doubt about that.
Hunter's steady Eddie.
Hunter's
just...
Yeah. He's a safety blanket for Drake Maye.
Yes.
So Stephon Diggs had 29 snaps. He had 41% of the snaps on the field. Why wasn't he on the field more? Is he not 100% healthy? And why wasn't Drake looking at him?
Well, I don't know. How am I supposed to know if he's 100% healthy or not? All I know is he had 7 targets. The next closest was Kayshon Boutte at 8. And so to David's point, he's 31 years old, coming off of an ACL. He's practiced a lot, and I think the one thing, too, and we talked about it with Pop, they got a room where the guys are rotating through. Yeah. I don't think you want this guy going out there and playing 65 snaps in week 1.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's my thing. He's 31, coming off an ACL. Like hats off to him. What he's done in his recovery process, dude's worked his ass off. There's no doubt about that. Like, I'm super impressed with him even being out there and even being productive. But I think there's a lot that I think people are talking about, like, why didn't Trayvon Henderson play more, or why didn't Kyle Williams play more. And I don't know, when I was seeing that, to me, the rookies, you have other vets. Is it a trust thing, you think? Not trying to put too much on their plate right now? Overwhelm the young guys? Like, I mean, I think the receiver room's different. Like, you do have, like, if Booty goes out there and has 8 catches every game for 100 yards, like, and Diggs gets, 7 targets. Hunter Henry's going to probably get 8 targets a game. Like, and hopefully Pop gets going. And, there's only one ball.
That's
and
right.
There's only so many receiver positions. So
I'll say this,
like
watching the coaches film, Drake, when I talk about being comfortable going through reads, like he's getting to the right guys, and that's how you spread the ball out. It's like they were playing a lot of zone defense, so you go through the reads. Here's Hunter, there's Booty, there's Diggs over the ball. Like, I thought he actually did a good job when you look at those numbers, like spreading the ball around.
I think that helps an offense.
100%.
I would rather
I'll go back to the Bills, and I know Patriots fans are going to hate this, but when Josh Allen started to say, like, I'm going to throw to the open guy. I don't care who it is, but I'm going to go through the reads, and if it's not there, I'm going to move around. That's like where you want to get to, right?
I mean, and I think if you've got 4 guys that you're really comfortable getting the ball to, because I know I've played on teams, especially with a quarterback, and this is the worst thing you could say about the guy, is he sometimes would check guys off.
You had to earn his trust.
Yeah, like
you had to earn it. If he didn't trust you, and it came to the game, and you were out there, like
you weren't getting the ball, even if you were open sometimes. So, I don't know. I think, offensively, I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not pulling a fire alarm.
I'm not hitting the panic button on the team. I mean, look, it's week 1. The one thing that you and I would both say, because this is how we think of football and how we learn, week 1, you and I probably share the same beliefs, like what wins week 1. It's not who has the best X's and O's. It's about who has the best fundamentals and who executes the best in critical moments. And I would say, yes, the Patriots had those moments. I know we'll get to the defense here. A lot of bright spots from the defense. I thought they got after Geno Smith at times. A lot of bright spots on the offense. I thought Drake Maye had some really good passes in the passing game. Guys showed up. But ultimately, the Raiders had better fundamentals, and they executed better in critical moments, and that's why they won the football game.
I mean, you can look at the red area. I think we were 1 for 3 in the red area.
Mm-hmm. Missed the field goal.
Missed the field goal. But then the 2 areas where I was disappointed in execution is before the half, get the ball. We got the ball at half. We always talk about the, point swing right there.
Yeah, the double up.
Yeah, you can double up. So even if it's just a field goal before half and then you come out of half and score, that's 10 points without their offense stepping on the field.
Right.
And those points in a close game, I mean, that could turn into we could have been sitting here saying, oh, Patriots won 2013.
Sure.
And I think to not get points before the half and then not do anything at a halftime, that's killer. And then the last situation was the end of game situation, which is a lot of controversy, which, I was disappointed in because it's 4th and 5. And we always used to say, you need your best football when it counts the most, right? And that's right. That was a moment.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's week 1. You talked about conditioning. And that's mental conditioning as much as physical conditioning, right? Because the mental toll of playing in a game is hard. And we have a false start. And, rookie, false start, 4th and 5.
Second of the game, by the way.
Second of the game. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter if it was his first, second, or whatever.
It is not in that situation.
In that situation, that's what matters. It doesn't matter what number it was. He could have played perfectly before that, and you need your best football in the most important moments.
It's one of those plays where the Raiders did nothing to get that advantage.
They didn't earn it.
Yeah, they didn't earn it. That's a self-inflicted wound where you're going to go for it. Now it goes to 4th and 10, which
let's bring Danny in on this.
All right, Danny, let's go.
So
the
there's 5 minutes
fanboys
left
here.
in the game. There's 5 minutes left in the game. The ball's on our own 45. It's 4th and 10. We haven't moved the ball all day. We're not going to score 2 more touchdowns, right? So why are we punting the ball? We don't expect to get the ball back.
You want to know my thoughts on that?
I would love to, David.
Because if you go for it, right, and you don't gain a yard, they have the ball at midfield.
Yeah.
You have one of the best field goal kickers in the league. that you drive 15 yards, he's making that kick, and the game's out of reach. So if you punt, and look, it wasn't a great punt. It was a 21-yard punt. If you pin him deep on the 2-yard line, what could go wrong? Safety, pin him deep. Now you get the ball back at midfield with 4 minutes left. That's my thing. Like, and I understand the analytics and all of that, but like, I don't know how much analytics there are. That's just, to me, football sense. Like, and look, any situation like that, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
So Coach Andrews, head coach of the Patriots.
I'm punting the football.
I'm punting it too. I mean, with 5 minutes to go, I don't know exactly what the timeout situation is, and they're down 10, right? Like, you don't need to. All you need is 10 points. So you could go down, get a field goal, and then go down. You're going to have to score twice no matter what. But to David's point, if you don't get it there, you give them the ball back. Now now you need 2 touchdowns as opposed to a touchdown and a field goal. And to me, 4th and 5 is much more manageable than 4th and 10. 4th and 10, I mean, the percentages of you converting that are so slim. And it wasn't desperation. I didn't feel desperation mode. It wasn't that next drive, the one they converted like 3rd and 18 on the double move.
Yeah.
So in reality, I mean, if you stop them there, we're all saying, and they go down and kick a field goal or a touchdown. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I hate second guessing those decisions unless they're so, they're so clear and like cut and clear. I didn't mind that at all.
To me, if it was 4th and 1 and then it became 4th and 6, and
I'd go for it.
I'd go for it.
Yeah, but 4th and 10.
4th and 10. That's
at that spot of the field with that much time left. I think. Danny, can you check and see what the timeouts were? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm assuming there was at least 2 timeouts left.
And I think that brings us into our next point is the defense. I think the defense played pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like, I was very, I don't know. I like seeing the new style of defense. I like seeing Milton Williams and Harold Landry and Christian Barmore be disruptive in the backfield. I saw a lot of, and now there was a lot of 2-man pressures off a side.
Yeah. You know what kind of reminded me of?
What?
When we played against Vrabel down in Tennessee, and we couldn't figure out their blitz package. Yeah. Now, I will say this. You talk about inconsistent. There were a lot of times where I felt, man, they're getting after Geno Smith. But then there was other times where I sat there, I'm like, this guy's got all day to throw. And when you're down Christian Gonzalez.
But right? that goes back to when you do a lot of pressures, you're just rolling dice.
Yeah.
Because if they pick it up,
right,
you're very light on the back end because you've got usually 7 guys in protection. So, which I think this week you want to see them create rushes really out of 4 or 5 man rushes. Like, that's going to be a huge key, I think, this week. Playing down in Miami, the skill set of those receivers, you can't afford to have 6, 7 guys in a rush. Like
6, 7?
6 or 7.
6 or 7. Yeah, I know.
What do you mean?
Your kids aren't old enough yet.
What is that?
I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to bring some youth injected into our podcast. That's what my kids say to me all the time.
Don't
6, 7.
Don't bring
you
TikTok in here.
I nailed it, right?
I don't even know what it means.
That my kids don't know what it means, but they say it all the time.
It's like a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
I was like, is Hoy questioning my knowledge on blitzes here?
6, 7.
He was like, why would you ever bring 7 guys? I think, but like, it's a TikTok trend. So don't feel bad, David, because I don't know either.
No, I'm just trying to be up with
Last
the
thing
times.
I'll say here on the Raiders, and Brian, to your point.
Danny, by the way, I missed you on this show. I love you just interjecting.
I'm here to just ruin what you guys are talking about.
Okay.
But to your point, they had all 3 timeouts. So I guess that justifies the punt a little more.
Yep.
Yeah.
But still, Coach Healy, head coach of the Patriots, is not punting that football.
Yeah, just keep doing your fantasy.
Yeah, I forgot. I mean, I just love seeing your Twitter account and all the wisdom you have as like Coach Lombardi. This was a classic Danny the other night during the Brazil game. Omarion Hampton, rookie, first game in the NFL. Before the half, they're trying to kill the clock a little bit. He runs out of bounds. Danny's like, they should bench him for the rest of the game. How does he not do that? Well, what
Coach Belichick mindset.
You know what Coach Harbaugh said after the game? He's like, maybe some of us smart coaches should have relayed it into our rookie running back, like, stay in bounds here. Like, what a great coach. Who would you rather play for? The guy who's going to bench you, or the one who says, it's your first game, you're hyped up, maybe we should remind you in that situation, like, stay in bounds.
Yeah, that's something you come in, quarterback in the ear, hey.
Right. That's what I told Danny.
Which I've seen done in huddles all the time. Hey, like, get out here, or get down.
How many
whatever.
times? Well, I wasn't really in there with you that much, but how many times because I'd hear it in my ear.
Oh, Tom
he'd be
would
like,
say
hey, tell James, even James White, who's the most reliable, remind James, you got to stay in bounds here.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hurt to help.
Well, and I think, look, I think going on fans, I think it's not that, like, I love hearing, I've loved interacting with the fans because I think, one, the fans are the only reason we have jobs, obviously. So without fans, and we experienced COVID year. Playing in front of nobody stinks. That
was so strange.
So, but I think, there's so much that goes into it that sometimes when you haven't played on the NFL level, it's just, it gets lost and you don't and you look around other teams and you want to be like, well, they do that. And trust me, I've thought that plenty of times watching film, like, man, I wish we could just do that. But then you have to look at your own team and, different things like that and personnel, situations and different things. So there's so much that goes into it. But, I love interacting with y'all on Twitter. Please. Keep it going. I can't.
Do you have a take on the Ryan Clark? Do you guys see that on ESPN?
I thought that was way out of line.
Way out of line. I love Peter Schrager. I've known him for a long time. He's one of the best to do it. Danny, I'm never going to say you didn't play, you don't know what you're talking about. I may rib you a little bit, but
I'm no Peter Schrager. I'll hand up on that.
Hey, there's always room for improvement. What did David say at the beginning of this podcast?
Look, let's be honest.
Plus, you got to get educated. I mean, you have two guys right here you can lean on, and honestly, you do. You text us. Although I laughed this morning. He's like, "What time do you guys go to bed?" Because you and I are. He's texting about the Monday Night Football game.
It was
I'm
like
long gone.
11:30. I've been asleep for an hour and a half.
I went to a great restaurant last night, a place called La Mora in Brookline, and they were hosting a restaurant from New York, I think Raschioli. It's like this it was like a takeover of their restaurant. Cute little place right there in Brookline. Phenomenal Italian food. So I got home just in time to see the beginning of Monday Night Football. But Danny, we got kids. I got to get up in the morning, take kids to school. We're not staying up.
I just think just because you never played football doesn't mean you have bad takes. I think there's tons of great reporters and there's tons of great people that, look at the game the right way and be like, hey, this was okay because of this. And to me, it's never like telling someone they don't know. But it's like providing context, right? Yeah. And it's using the knowledge you have, which, look, if you play for Bill Belichick, you learned so much about the game of football. And there was so much I didn't know about football when I got into the league.
Well,
and how you look at situations and different things like that. And so, it's not like, it's just like going back to that guy that said we needed the fullback. Like, hand up, I want a fullback.
Yeah, I love a fullback in offense. It settles the defense down.
That wasn't supporting, like, I don't.
Yeah, the clips didn't support what he was.
So it's not
saying.
like he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just those weren't the right clips to show. I think there could have been a bunch of other ones, but
the other thing too is like just because you played football doesn't mean you're always going to have a good take. There's plenty of guys I listen to who played a lot of football who I don't agree with a lot of what they say.
Who do you think was the best football coach in the Patriots building in our time there?
Dante Scarnecchia.
Did he play down of NFL football?
No, I don't think he did.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't necessarily. Ernie didn't either. But Ernie understood situations. So, like, it doesn't matter. So, for Ryan Clark to do that,
by the way,
I wasn't a fan
you
of
learn
that.
more by listening to other people's opinions and what they think. And what were they even discussing, Danny, when that came up? They were discussing...
they were talking about if CeeDee Lamb had a better game than A.J. Brown. And Ryan Clark was trying to say that A.J. Brown had a better game, even though he had one catch because they won the ball game, but CeeDee Lamb had like 8 catches for 100 yards.
I've played in a lot of ball games that I stunk, and we won the game despite me stinking.
That is a wild take.
And I'm not saying A.J. Brown stunk at the game.
Shout out to P. Schrager. We got you. With that being said, we are going to move on to Miami. The Raiders are in the past. And with that, we have the FW Web Solution of the Week. The team at FW Web delivers the right solutions for the pros, when and where they need them. Here's the solution we think the Patriots should put in place for next week. They got to
run the football. And
how do they do that, David?
That's a broad statement.
I agree with you, but how do they do that?
When you're running the football, you're playing from ahead.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Miami team you do not want to play from behind. You never want to play from behind, but a team like Miami, the explosiveness, the weapons they have, the way they can get after the passer, you don't want to play from behind.
They're what you call a front-running team.
I would say so.
They're a team that if they get ahead, they feel comfortable.
And hopefully we're not a front-running team.
That's right.
And only time will tell. But, look, the Colts ran for 156 yards against them last week. The Colts have a new offensive line in a lot of ways. You know, they lost their center, you know, different things like that. So this is a great game, I think. One, it's a divisional game. You know, it's a divisional game. 1-0 in the division. That's always where you want to start. And if you're running the football, it opens up everything. You know, we talked about that. You can do more bootlegs. You can get more spacing in the passing game, take more shots. It just running the football, as much as
it solves a lot of issues.
It solves a lot of issues. As much as they want to get away from it in the league and points and everything, you look at the teams that are successful, they can run the football.
Yeah, the two teams in the NFC Championship game last year, Philadelphia and Washington, they ran it more than any other team in the NFL last year. So it just goes to show you can win that way. And usually, if you to your point, if you are running the football, it means you're playing from ahead.
Yeah, and so I think that offensively settles things down, makes them defend the whole field. You know, you play ahead of the chains, you play ahead on the score, it just all snowballs into a better performance, which this team needs. We need. Yeah. I need it. The fans, we need this team to go out there this week, and I am confident in this coaching staff from top to bottom that they're going to come in. You know, they're in there. You know, the coaches are in there. They've been in there for a long day, and it's going to be a long night for them. And they're going to get this thing right this week, starting tomorrow at practice. So, you know, I'm back to being excited again.
Good, you should.
To go down there. I'm tired of the bullshit of Miami and how hard it is to win, which it is. But let's just go down there, kick their ass, get back on that plane, and come home.
I do think they're right for the taking. I think the solution on defense is to get some turnovers. They got one last week, but I think the pressure that they were able to put on Geno Smith at times. I mean, we saw Tua Tagovailoa. How do you say that?
I just ripped Tua.
Tagovailoa. Let me do it again.
Just go Tua.
Right. Yeah,
I would say Tua.
All right. The solution on defense would to go down and get some more turnovers. We saw one last week. The pressure they were generating. Now, we saw Tua go out on Sunday, threw 2 picks, had a fumble. He's right for the taking. And so I think for the defense, get the ball back for the offense more. The offense go out, run the football, get ahead, take control of the game. Look, you and I both know we've been down there for some games in Miami. Sometimes it doesn't always go great for the Patriots, but I think this is one where the Patriots have a bad taste in their mouth. So do the Dolphins. Who's going to come out? Who's going to put more work in this week, and who's going to go out and execute better next Sunday? And I have a feeling it'll be the Patriots.
I do too. We always talked as a race each week. Who can get better the fastest?
That's right. Especially those first 4 weeks of the season.
And I think this is a game you go down there like I just said, in the division. This is a huge game, and a team that I think in Miami, just from the view on the outside, you see Tyreek Hill, frustration on the side. This is a team.
Did you see that wild stat yesterday?
No, what was it?
It said it's been 365 days since Tyreek Hill has had a reception over 30 yards.
Wow. I mean,
can you believe that?
Well, that's the thing. It's not like they throw Hail Marys. It's these crossing routes.
Right, but I'm saying,
Waddle
don't you feel like you always just remember him just catching an in cut against us and just...
Yeah, but
I feel like... remember a time?
I feel like they were 15-yard in cuts that hit Waddle turned into 80 yards.
Can you ever remember a time? So Tyreek asked for a trade, obviously, and he's publicly spoken bad about the team. Has there ever been someone on one of your teams that has done that? And what is that dynamic in the locker room?
Judon. I was in Vegas, and I mean, Devontae didn't speak poorly about the team, but it was clear he wanted to get traded. He ended up getting traded the next year to New York. I can't really think of any other high-profile ones that I was associated. In New England, it didn't really happen very much.
It didn't happen. I mean, the only one was Judon.
And the only holdout I can remember was Logan Mankins.
I wasn't there for that, but. Yeah, I mean, I just think this is a great game to get back on track. Division opponent, a place that the organization leaving Sunday with a win it would feel great for the organization in more ways than one and the fan base. So, but that brings us, Hoy, to our Miller legendary moment.
All right.
Now, this week's legendary moment, we will look back at some of the most memorable Patriot games. So this one's presented by Miller Lite. Legendary stories start with a light. Here's the 50 years of Miller time.
Miller time.
Yeah, baby. Where's our Miller, Danny? So this week, let's talk. Danny picked this game. So
I know why you picked this game. You saw the photos of them. I think we need to make sure that those photos are inserted for the folks to see at home, because honestly, neither of us were involved in this game.
So this was the 2019, let's call it the AB game, Pats versus Dolphins.
AB game.
So it was, I had the blood clots that year, so I wasn't playing.
I got cut, and they were trying to stash me for a week and then bring me back, and then all of a sudden, Andrew Luck retired. They needed a backup quarterback in Indianapolis.
You and Jacoby go reunite.
Me and Jacoby were together, but I remember, I forget when it was when they announced that AB was getting traded in New England. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
He was a good dude. I mean,
I loved AB. I was with him in Pittsburgh. We always had a good relationship, and I knew that Tom was going to get the best out of him. That's for sure.
You know, when you're around someone though, and you're like, yeah, he's a good dude, but there's something off.
See, I knew him younger when he was in Pittsburgh. Obviously, this is kind of like probably like 10 years later. Things were a little bit different at that point. But man, you talk about a player on the field, just a guy that was unguardable.
I think one quick story about Antonio Brown. Before we get into this game. So, you know, we weren't, Bill, there was no photos in the locker room, no photos in the facility type rule. And I'll never forget, you know, we used to do this thing called Start the Day Right. So we'd start 10, 15 minutes.
You need to explain what Start the Day Right was.
I'd rather not.
Why?
It just drove me insane.
Explain it,
dude.
now.
This is what I kind of forgot about until you just said that. And I think about back to like how wild this was.
This started a few years ago. It was called Start the Day Right, and it really was to give guys a buffer so they weren't late to the squad meeting. So it started at 7:45. There was some things I liked about it. So like you would go in. Like the defense would be in the weight room, offense would be in the locker room. You kind of huddle with your position groups. And what I did like about it was Dante would come in, kind of be like, hey, these are some coaching points we're going to work on today. If there was something he thought Bill was going to ask us in the team meeting, he made sure we were prepared for that, which was good. But then we'd like stretch for like.
It was like a meeting disguised as a stretch.
Yeah, it was
where you would get like a little bit of a preview of what the day was.
Yeah,
but to David's point, it was to make sure everybody was there on time. And I mean, look, we were always there early, so it didn't really matter. It was almost like
it kind of cut into my routine, so that's why I didn't like it. But so Tuesday, Ted Karras is in the hot tub with Antonio Brown.
Teddy K.
And this was like Teddy's first year starting because I wasn't playing. And Ted was like, always wanted to do everything right.
Yep.
Big rule follower.
We love Ted, by the way.
Yeah, Ted's the best. That's why he's had a great career. But AB was in the hot tub with Ted. And they're like hanging out talking. And AB posts a selfie with Ted in the hot tub.
Ted was probably shitting himself.
So, you know, we would play pranks on each other and mess with each other. And obviously Dante Scarnecchia does not have social media.
Yeah.
So we go to Dante and we're like, hey, Dante, Ted posted this picture. Ted didn't post the picture. So in Start the Day Right, you know, I'm goofing off. I'm not goofing off, but like I'm not playing. I'm sick. Like I'm there and I'm trying to help, but like, you know, you're trying to fill your time. So this was kind of my idea. And
it's a little Matt Light of you.
I had a little bit. I wrote Ted a fine letter one year in 21.
That's awesome.
And had Jimbo FedEx it to the facility. That was great. He was rattled. But so Scar starts the meeting and is like going on. And at the end, he goes, and Ted, you know, be prepared. You know, Bill saw the picture of you and Antonio in the hot tub and he's not happy. And like Ted goes ghost white, and like he's like, I didn't post it. He posted it. I just took a picture with him. He was so rattled. It was a great way to start our day.
Awesome.
And but so AB comes out in this game. Let's see the stats there, Danny.
AB had 4 catches.
I don't want to hear you say it. I want to see it. Thank you.
Well, now you're not yelling at the wrong person.
But he was targeted like the first 6 plays, the first 6 plays of the game were all targeted to Antonio Brown.
Tom was like a pig in shit.
Oh my
Antonio
God,
Brown.
So you said I picked this game, and I did because I was in Miami just randomly. I was like, I got to go to this game because Antonio Brown's playing for the Patriots, and I had a Deion Branch 84 jersey. So I took some tape, I found some stickers, and I wrote Brown on the back and just duct tape.
But then he wore number 17, right?
Yeah, he was 17. But, it still played. But
were you the guy who caught him when he did his touchdown celebration and he jumped into the thing?
I wish. I was on your guys' side level. You weren't there because you were both away. But this was one of the craziest just like moments because then the next week he was off the team.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a dominant game.
Oh my God! And they still had Josh Gordon. The receivers were what? It was AB, Julian, Josh Gordon, Phil Dorsett was still there.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Gronk was out this game, and like Matt Lacoste was playing tight end.
Gronk was retired, right?
Gronk was retired because he was going to get traded
to the Colts. Right?
One of the best stories ever. I mean, they were going to trade me, and I just told them I'll just retire.
I mean, and let's not forget that defense was really good that year.
It was.
I mean,
2 pick sixes, right?
2 pick sixes. James Collins comes back. The prodigal son returned.
And Steph was, that's the year he won Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he was ridiculous.
No, he won it in 18, I thought, right? Or
he won Depot that year.
Yeah.
In 19, he won Defensive Player of the Year?
Let me double check for you, Dave.
I thought it was 18, the Super Bowl year.
That was the year you got the Patriots ended up going 10-0 to start the season.
It was 2019. He won the Depot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was a lot. That year was very similar to my rookie year. So my rookie year, we started 10-0.
Were you out the whole year that year?
Yeah, 19,
the
whole year.
Okay.
Yeah. So my rookie year, we started 10-0, very similar, and then slid throughout the back. Now, different team, obviously. Injuries my rookie year were a big problem we ran into with the team. But I don't know, like, especially being hurt, watching it from afar in some ways, it was so reminiscent of my rookie year, like, and just it's what could have been is that year.
It's true.
What could have been, and it was sad to see the AB situation, and obviously it, turned into what it is. So.
But Tom got him back down in Tampa, won a Super Bowl with him.
Tom got him back down. Yeah, I mean, Tom's the AB whisperer a little bit, I guess. But
last thing on AB here, do you guys, now that you're on Twitter all the time, do you come across Antonio Brown's Twitter account?
Yeah, it's one of the greatest things. It's wild, it's out there, but it's I'm always waiting for it to pop up on the timeline. That's for sure.
We gotta get
shout out to AB.
Yeah, he's absurd. He's absurd. Well, what a crazy game that was.
There was another one that I tried to go with. You didn't want to do it because you weren't there. You were probably in middle school. I don't know. 2010, where were you, Danny?
2010, I was in 8th grade.
8th grade, there you go. The same age as my son Garrett. We went down. There's really not very many great memories of going down to Miami.
I have one, 2016.
And I have that one, which is 2010, I believe was 2010, opening night. Monday Night Football, if I'm not...
Is that the Wes Welker?
Welker, 99 yards. Yeah. 500 yards he threw for. People actually just saw it, speaking of X or Twitter, people were talking about just like... Because Tom recently has talked about like the development of quarterbacks. Yeah. Like they're overly physically developed because there's quarterback gurus. They go to camps, all these things. 7-on-7s. But when it comes to the mental aspect, and someone was showing... In that game, we were like in spread. He motioned Danny Woodhead out, saw it was blitz zero, brought him back in, brought the tight end in for protection, audibled, all of this in a matter of like 20 seconds. And it's just something you don't see from the quarterback position anymore. But that night was an electric night. Go down, play in Miami, Monday Night Football. I believe it was Monday Night Football. Maybe it was Sunday night. But watch this guy throw for 500 yards. It was incredible.
10 years, I have one win in Miami.
That might be the only one that I was a part of.
Why is it such a problem for the team?
No, I mean, look,
we would go to a different hotel every day. We tried to break.
Bill was like not superstitious, but superstitious. Like I've never stayed in so many hotels.
Sometimes we'd be on the beach. Sometimes I don't even know where the hell
you'd be
we were.
Like on a golf course resort.
I actually just played that golf course, Turnberry.
I've seen every hotel in Miami.
Yeah.
I think except for South Beach.
I don't know, Danny. That's a good question. Why? I don't know.
And because that's the thing, if it was always you played them week 2 in September, you would easily say heat conditioning.
Right.
But like I've played them in September, I've played them in December.
Remember the Jay Cutler game?
Yeah, I mean it's just it's hard. But look, that's part of that environment, and then they come up. You see them in December and playoffs struggle against Green Bay here, wherever it is. It's just I don't know if that's it. It is a hard place to play, and I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for fans and everything else why we struggled so bad down there.
I got one more problem for you that's gonna in week 2 here when we go down to Miami.
What?
Cole Strange just got signed by the Dolphins. Is he going to be an issue for us?
Is he on, I guess, because he was on the Browns
he was on the practice squad,
so he got claimed.
Active, yeah.
Yeah, just within the hour.
I mean, what do you say?
Breaking news from Danny Healy. Thank you.
Breaking news.
Good for Cole, though. Good.
Yeah, I like Cole.
I like Cole. It wasn't his fault. He was a first-round pick and had all those expectations put on him.
Injuries.
So good for Cole.
Yep.
What do you mean a problem like that? I
was joking. I mean, I was kind of making fun of him.
I do think it's interesting when guys get signed and
But the week before they're playing their old team.
Yeah, and you're
trying to get information.
You do try to. I mean, I've done that. Like tried to get information. Like,
does that happen?
Oh
yeah. I mean, you're trying to use everything you can.
I feel like Bill used to do that a lot, like sign a guy to a practice squad for a few weeks, get information, and then kick him out.
Maybe that's a Cole Strange situation in Miami.
I don't know. I mean, when you struggle like they did, you're probably just trying to get as much help as you can.
Yeah.
This episode of Quick Snap would not be possible, Hoy, without our presenting sponsor, FW Web. On jobs large and small across 16 disciplines, FW Web has the selection, in-stock inventory, expertise, solutions, and people to get the job done right. For more than 150 years, FW Web has been the trusted partners for professionals across the Northeast, delivering what you need, when, and where you need it. Because at FW Web, they believe relationships, trust, and dependable service matters. FW Web, where every customer counts. FW Web sound like an O-lineman. That's why I like it.
I do like that. That was a hell of an ad read.
Very good, David.
Very good energy. That does sound like an offensive lineman.
That was
dependable.
Good.
All right, Hoy. Special guest this week, none other than Demario Douglas.
Demario, who's that?
Great question. That is Pop Douglas to you, Hoy. No, think Pop's going to be a great addition in this offense. Obviously, get him going here. I really like the receiver room in a lot of aspects. I think they got a lot of people, that can help the football team win. So interested in kind of hear what he says about that. The game last week, and obviously had the lone touchdown of the game. Yep. So, just try to get, his perspective and moving forward onto Miami this week.
No, I love it. We had Julian last week. It's only fitting we have the slot receiver now for the Patriots. And to your point, love the receiver room. You got a mix of a little bit older with Diggs, Matt Collins. You guys got guys in the middle right there with Booty, who had a great game. You got Pop, and then you got the young guys in Chisholm and Kyle Williams. So you kind of have a really good mix of it all. And
which is what you need.
It is.
You do need that dispersion. You don't want a room with 4 old guys and 2 young guys. You want to have that dispersion. Guys like Booty and Pop coming on, showing more leadership, different things like that, more responsibility. What you did see this week with, obviously Booty's performance and Pop's role in the offense.
Yeah, I love him for this offense, and so we'll talk to him a little bit about that. We'll talk to him about the receiver room, talk to him about his relationship with Drake Maye.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's go. All right, we got a very special guest for episode 2 of the Quick Snap podcast. It seemed only fitting. We had Julian Edelman on last week. We now got to come to the new slot receiver playing for the Patriots, Pop Douglas. Pop, thanks for being here with us today. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Appreciate y'all having me.
Well, I just wanted to start off. I just talked about we had Julian on last week. You're now the slot receiver playing for Josh McDaniels, and we actually saw you down at Julian's live show down at MGM Music Hall in Fenway. I want to know, did you get a chance to pick his brain at all? Have you watched some of the film now that you're playing that role in this offense?
Yeah, I've before I came to that, that live show, I spoke with him. And he gave me some, some great knowledge, to be how to be successful in this offense at the slot position. And Jules been successful in this offense, and he gave me some great pointers.
That's awesome. Well, we saw yesterday or Sunday in the game against the Raiders. They're bringing an all-out blitz. Who are we going to go to? We're going to go to Pop on the blitz zero beater. Talk about that touchdown. How much have you guys prepared for that? Clearly, it was a play that you guys went to knowing what the defense was doing, and it resulted in 7 points.
Yeah, Drake did a great job of, seeing the defense, and he did a great job of changing the offense to something that he's seen, and we all connected on the play, and it came to a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I know about receiver play, which isn't a lot, especially in the Josh McDaniels offense, is you got to attack leverage, right?
That's right.
And that's what you did on that play. I think it was Jeremy Chin, right?
Yeah.
Chin had that inside leverage. You attacked your leverage, got open, no one back there. So great job. That's about all I know on receiver play, really, is attacking leverage.
That's pretty good.
Hey, he was paying attention in meetings.
I try to, pick up a little nuggets. I don't know if I could use that and take that to the high school level if I was coaching one day, hey, here's Pop Douglas on blitz zero attacking leverage in the red area.
There you go.
But
great coaching point.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. But Pop, talk a little bit. Me watching the game, I saw a lot of guys sharing the wealth, especially in the receiving room, which I think is a good thing, because I think if you've got guys that you're comfortable with getting the ball to. You've got Hunter Henry, Booty had a great day, Diggs, Mac Hollins, the backs. To me, that's a bright spot of this team, is the receiver room in general. It's a lot of really good players. That makes it hard on a defense. Talk a little bit about the room, the dynamic in the room. It's obviously a very new room from a lot of different pieces, but talk a little bit about that. Give the fans a little bit of insight into that room. Receivers are different cats now. So talk a little bit about that. You've got the vets, and then you kind of got the young guys, and then you got guys like you and Booty, who I think are key guys in that room to take that next step into leadership, going into year 3, year 4, like that's a big thing for you guys to take on right now. Right. And, I think it's a good dynamic of a room, with the vets, guys like you, and then the young guys.
Yeah, I love our room, man. We're gonna start with, Coach TD, man. He Todd Downing, he's been doing a great job, just breaking everything down with us. No matter how good the play is, he's still gonna correct, the little things, because it could show up anytime. So, Coach Todd, he's been doing a great job, with the receiver room and holding us to a certain standard. And then, I got, Diggs and Hollins, man. We need it. I feel like, me and Booty, as us being young, we needed, Diggs and Hollins to show us, the way, to show us how to practice, how to carry ourselves and how to operate things, to become successful. And those guys have a long career in this league because they've been doing the things right. So I feel like that was a great asset to the team, because we needed those leaders. Diggs gonna push you, Hollins gonna push you too, and how Hollins practice is amazing. He shows us how to practice, and and then Booty, you was here with Booty, his rookie year, and man, look at him now, man. He's been balling. It just his mindset just it switched on, and he's unstoppable. He's been balling since camp. Well, last year, they seen it, but he's been balling. And then we got Kyle and Chid. Kyle, he's been balling. Speed, he's learning. He's learning, and he's getting better as it goes. Can't wait to see him ball too. And then Chiz, man, he's good, man. And you've seen the little snippets of him in preseason and how he's been, getting better and better. And Chiz, he's been pushing me to elevate my game. That's my boy right there. And I feel like our room together, man, we play for each other, man. We're so connected and locked in with each other, and it's good, man. I feel like our coach is what also helped bring us together too.
Yeah, it takes everyone.
Hey, I love that Todd Downing shout out. I got to know Todd a little bit because our boys, my son Garrett and his son Jackson, they've been training this offseason. So my son's playing quarterback. Him and Jackson are running routes. I'm like, now, Jackson, I know you've been helping with the training camp and those guys. You got to teach them, like, we got to run the routes this way. And sure enough, I mean, he's attacking levers. They're doing a tremendous job. So it's trickling down to the youth as well. But I love to hear that about the wide receiver room. They're always such a tight-knit group, along with the offensive line guys. And talk about your relationship with Drake and everybody's relationship with Drake, because for me, such a big factor in success on the field is how you guys are working behind the scenes, right? And not just in the meetings, not just at practice, but what do you guys do extra? How are you making sure you're all on the same page, especially for you, a guy who's going to have some option routes, some you're going to have to read them on the run. Talk about that communication and building that relationship.
Man, it's been good with Drake. You know, he's going into his second year, and I feel like he's becoming more poised and more, you know, bringing more leadership to his room and to the whole team. You know, Drake's been carrying himself very good. You know, I feel like with us and him with our preparation, he's been doing a great job taking the receiver room, well, all the positions on offense, getting it together and speaking vocally, how he feels and what he sees and things like that. So when we practicing and we got plays, and say if we don't connect with something after practice, he wants to connect with it, and we're gonna go over it probably twice or three times just to make sure we got that connection. So I feel like Drake has been doing a great job being a great leader with this offense and putting everybody in the right position to be successful. And I feel like Drake has stepped up big time, you know, from last year to this year. I know that first year it's a little hiccup, you know, it's just a learning process. But this year he's very confident, and I can't wait, you know, till we all click together. And I feel like we're gonna be good, man. That first game was a little, but I feel like we're gonna bring it back together.
I feel it too, Pop. Don't worry, I'm all in. Let's take it away from football a little bit here, Pop. Talk about the nickname Pop. How you got it? I was literally doing radio yesterday, and someone said DeMario, and I was like, "Who? Who is that? Oh, Douglas Pop? Oh, okay, yeah, I know that guy." So talk a little bit about Pop, where that came from. You know, like I've never called you by your real name, so. Just talk about that a little bit, you know, where that came from, and, you know, if you got anything else, you know, off the field you're doing, you know, charity work, foundation, whatever it may be.
I got my nickname from my granddad. When I turned 1, he passed away on my birthday, and his name was Papa. So my nickname is Papa, but when I was in high school, a lot of my coaches, they didn't like calling me Papa. So one of my coaches was like, "I'm not calling you Papa, call you Pop." And then a lot of people was already calling me Pop, but he just wanted to call me Pop. So I just, you know, let that go. You know, I ain't really tell a lot of people it's Papa. I just say Pop. And then it just, you know, went on from that. And yeah, that's big, you know, my nickname after, you know, my granddad. I never really got to meet him because I was turning 1, but yeah, that's you know, something to carry. And I'll have little episodes coming out like Pop Quiz, you know, going around asking people, you know, see if they know about, you know, the Patriots, you know, do they know about the history of the Patriots, and do they know about our team now, you know, things like that. Just going around, I went around Boston, you know, connected with the fans and, you know, seeing what they know about us and about the history of the Patriots, see if we have real fans out here, which we do. And it's amazing to see that they're still in tune with us, you know, how our previous years been.
Well, let me tell you, doing a history of the Patriots, I know one coach that would make that happy. Bill Belichick.
That's right.
You would always get those histories. You know, Pop Douglas, who was this guy that wore 83 for the Patriots? You know, it was like, oh, if you didn't know that was Wells Walker. Or whatever it may be.
Deion Branch. Which one is it?
David Andrews. Who was this center from that wore 67? You're like, oh, God, I don't, you know, Dan Copen? I don't know.
I told you what happened to me my rookie year. No. Pop, you appreciate this because you have Bill. He would go around, he'd ask you. We had the pictures on the wall. And, of course, I got the picture that had all 5 offensive linemen. And I was a rookie. I didn't. And I knew pretty well. So I was like, that's Matt Light. That's Logan Mankins. That's Dan Coppin. And from the back, Coppin's like, it's Coppin, not Coppin. And I was like, oh, man, I was so good. Steve Neal and Nick Kasier. But, man, he put you on the spot. You better get that stuff right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Pop, man, love seeing you in there on a Tuesday, the off day. Appreciate you joining us, man. You know, look, we're excited. I don't know. I feel like I'm still on the team. You know,
you're closer than I am.
Yeah, like, you know, and I feel so invested. And, you know, so look, we're excited, Pop. You know, wish you guys nothing but the best. Big game this week in Miami. Love seeing you in there today on your off day. I know there's probably a bunch of guys in there, and that's a good sign. You know, guys in there putting in the work. You know, trying to get better, try to fix it, and you know, it's turnover, right? You guys have moved on, moved past it. We're on to Miami, you know, and so great, good luck this week, brother. We'll be pulling for you. Can't wait to see what you do down there in that warm weather.
All right, good. Go get it, Pop.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Thanks for being here.
See you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, David, that's a wrap on episode 2. Thanks to Pop Douglas for joining us. Check us out on NBC Sports Boston at 6 p.m. on Wednesday nights, and hopefully we're sitting here next week after Patriots victory.
That's all we can hope for.
Right.
I know that's what everyone's hoping for. Like I said earlier, I get the frustration now. I'm sitting there just like everybody else, you know. So I'm encouraged, though. I'm excited. And I would really like to see this team go out there Sunday down in Miami, just come out, fly around, have fun, play free, play loose, and let's go kick their ass.
All right, we're manifesting it. We'll see you back here next week.
Let's go. Thanks, guys.